It's been about 2 months since Harris County began enforcing a new bail condition for people arrested on misdemeanor charges. The policy changes were the result of a court order stopping the county from holding people in jail who can't afford bail. But Channel 2 Investigates has discovered the new policies are having some unintended consequences. Investigator Robert Arnold found nearly a third of the people released aren't coming back, and it has some county leaders concerned the new rules aren't working.
To get justice costs money. It's not free.
Gilbert Cruz spent 2 months in jail because he couldn't afford bail on a misdemeanor charge, but he refused to plead guilty.
I did nothing wrong.
Cruz was exonerated, but time in jail cost him his job, his car, and his credit.
They don't even say that they mistake. All they say is you can go.
KPRC legal analyst Brian Weiss explains the point of bail.
Bail exists not to detain people because they're poor, but to assure their appearance at trial.
That is the foundation of a federal lawsuit against several Harris County judges, hearing officers, and the sheriff's office. The lawsuit argues poor people get stuck in jail because they can't pay bail. People with money get out. Harris County Commissioner Rodney Ellis argues that violates the Constitution, and he supports the lawsuit.
This system in Harris County has been in place for far too long, with far too many problems.
The county is fighting the lawsuit. In the meantime, a federal court judge issued an order forcing the county to make changes now.
You're here because you've been accused of committing a crime.
The judge's order requires the sheriff's office to release those charged with misdemeanors within 24 hours of their arrest, regardless of whether they can pay the bail. The only exceptions are those wanted elsewhere by immigration or are on a mental health hold. Since the judge's order took effect, many misdemeanor defendants are getting out of jail on unsecured bonds. They don't have to pay to get out, but would have to pay the full bond if they don't show up for court. Channel 2 Investigates discovered since the judge issued her order, nearly 30% of those released on unsecured bonds don't show up or violate a condition of their release. For all other types of bonds, the failure rate is less than 10%.
Does that number concern you?
Absolutely, it concerns me.
Major Greg Summerlin says the sheriff's office has no choice but to comply with the judge's orders. Here are some examples.
You have the right to remain silent.
Christopher Worley is charged with DWI, his bail $2,500. In court records, he listed a $6,000 a month salary, $23,000 in savings, and $500 cash in his pocket. He says he couldn't afford the entire bail before that 24-hour deadline, so he was released on an unsecured bond. Worley lists a home address in Oregon and did not show up for court.
Miguel Cornelio.
Miguel Cornelio served time in the 80s for murder and has twice been deported to Mexico. He went before a judge on a 2-year-old DWI, couldn't afford bail, and was released on an unsecured bond. He didn't show up for court and has not been found.
Are you concerned, though, that people are just going to catch on to the fact that all they have to do is say, I can't pay, and they get out?
I am concerned.
Summerlin says the sheriff's office doesn't have the resources to verify a person's financial status within that 24-hour deadline. He also says the higher the bail, the greater the chance of release because there's less chance someone can pay. Summerlin says the judge's order also states even if someone doesn't show up for court or is arrested for a new misdemeanor, they still have to be released within 24 hours.
Regardless of risk.
There is no risk assessment in this process. Basically, it's do you have the financial means to pay your bond within the first 24 hours?
The county is appealing the judge's order and has so far spent $3.5 million on fighting this lawsuit. Tomorrow evening on Channel 2, we'll show you why County Judge Ed Emmett worries the cycle of catching and releasing accused criminals is putting the public at risk. Robert Arnold, KPRC, Channel 2 News.